mummy's with the maggots now.
Death has come to your little town, Sheriff.
Well, hi there.
Hello, and welcome to Would You Die, the show where I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch. I'm Austin Torres.
And I'm Anneliese Petersmark.
Annalisa, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, you guys!
It's 2026.
It is 2026.
It's weird because we are recording this a month in advance.
Yeah, it's early December. But it's 2026 in the future when this is being posted.
How was December, guys? Let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully you got everything you wanted for Christmas.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully you're going strong on your New Year's resolutions. I don't remember what day this one is posted because I don't remember what day New Year's is.
Well, the substance came out New Year's Eve.
Right.
So this is posting January 7th.
Okay, so
we're a weekend.
We're a weekend. Let us know how 2026 is.
I probably already failed my resolution.
What are your resolutions?
I don't know.
Oh,
but
okay.
I failed them.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good one. My resolutions are to watch the movies for this podcast more than a week in advance. So, we'll see.
I ain't doing that.
It's fair. But I have to do research usually.
Yeah, that's true. I just come in like knowledge and brain.
I have to do thinking ahead of time.
It's easier for me if I watch the movie closer to the record date.
Fair.
Because you're kind of like the structure. I'm like the color commentator, I feel like.
Sure. I'm play-by-play, your color commentary.
Yeah.
What's Jeremy? Is he Gronk?
He's doing his best.
Yeah. Jeremy's the Gronk of Would You Die is a crazy take that I just had.
I can be the Gronk. That's okay. I'm going to start spiking footballs in here every Monday.
I'm like the celebrity commentator.
Right.
I'm like the Tom Brady and the... Mm-hmm. Who else are color commentators?
Jason Kelsey, isn't he one? Or is he
I think he's...
I don't know anything. I'm just here.
Because Troy Aikman's a real... Like a play-by.
Right. He's a real guy.
Tony Romo, he's a color commentator.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins at one time on the BTN network for this Michigan State spring game.
That was something.
Anyways, you guys don't want to hear about sports. You guys want to hear about horror movies.
Correct. And we've got one to start off with. So first of all, Cold as Ice month.
Yeah, because you're cold as ice. That's a Foreigner reference.
It is a Foreigner reference.
Because we like Foreigner.
If we don't care, who knows? We do have some storied history with Foreigner in this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we are doing Cold as Ice month. Makes sense for the depths of winter.
I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, we're well in it now.
Yeah.
So
there's literally a snowstorm while we're recording.
Correct. Everything from this month is related to winter or snowstorms of some kind.
Yes.
In some way. And we are starting off with
John Carpenter's The Thing,
which is an amazing Cold as Ice month movie.
Wasn't it a good pick?
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
It definitely was. If you've never seen it, again, spoiler alert, go watch it. But here's a synopsis as a refresher for those of you who haven't seen it in a while. On a remote scientific base in Antarctica, a group of researchers are put to the test when a helicopter attempts a shooting against a sled dog in their camp. Taking in the dog proves to be their fatal mistake, as the dog is not what it seems and is, instead, an alien hell-bent on infecting the crew and eventually the world. A rugged helicopter pilot, Kurt Russell, leads the crew in attempting to weed out the creature as it spreads covertly through the camp.
Let's go!
Let's go! So what is your personal connection with this movie?
I have a long storied history with this movie. For me, this movie is my enemies to lovers trope.
Okay, explain.
When I was starting to explore horror movies in like high school, so this is after like my mom showed me Alien, my grandpa showed me Predator, and I started watching like Scream and Nightmare. I just remember my grandpa wanted to get me into the movies that he liked, which were like horror movies, like the 30s, 40s, 50s, those ones. And me really liking Alien, me really liking Predator, John Carpenter's The Thing started to become on my radar, and my grandpa was like, fuck that movie. We hate that movie.
Okay.
And I said, okay, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Why? He's like, because it's gross, and it's not like the original.
Okay.
So he showed me the 1950s, I think it's Howard Hawks' The Thing from Another World.
Okay.
Which is also a banger of a movie. Couldn't be more different.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, okay, I hate this movie then, because I was like 14 and that was my grandpa. And and then I watched the movie for the first time in college. Me and my buddy Adam at Michigan State, we just watched it in, I believe it was his dorm room, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, I never seen The Thing, so we watched it, and I was like, well, it didn't suck, but my grandpa was right. The 50s version's better, and that's because that's a version I kind of grew up with. So I'm like, okay, I watched it. It was decent, whatever. So I didn't really get the hype around it at first. But then as I kind of grew up and just fell more and more in love with the horror genre, The Thing just gradually, like, I grew to appreciate it. And then I rewatched it again in 2020 or 2021 on a whim. And I'm like, young Austin was stupid. This movie rules. And I've seen it like 2 times in theaters since. I've watched it a couple times since, and it's one of my favorite movies now.
Nice.
So like I said, enemies to lovers trope. How about you? What's your personal relationship?
My personal relationship with this movie is that we watched it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So this episode is kind of going to function just slightly different from our normal episode. It will still be like the same beats and everything, but normally I do a lot more research. However, Austin told Jeremy and I to go in completely blind to this movie. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know it was an alien movie. I knew it had something to do with winter because it was in Cold as Ice month, and it would have been a weird pick if it wasn't.
You also knew John Carpenter did it because I refer to it as John Carpenter's The Thing.
Correct. That's about all I knew. I knew it was probably a horror movie because that's this podcast. Didn't know Kirk Russell was in it. Didn't know the diabetes guy was in it. Had no clue about anything other than it's a movie, it's horror, it's John Carpenter, and it takes place sometime in winter / snow and or ice. That was it. So I was pretty blind. So I don't even have, like, when we get into historical context, I got nothing for you because I, again, did no research. So yeah, that's my personal connection, is that I just watched it. Definitely, like, I guess we'll get into this with the Letterboxd review, but it was a really interesting movie because it's just kind of, for a movie that gets into the action right away, kind of a slower paced movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is bad. I want to be clear. Sometimes people hear slow paced and they think that means that, like, it's a negative, and I don't agree that that's always the case. But yeah, it was really interesting because when I saw it, it was like far less than 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It got right into the action. I expected it to be more like fast paced, and it really wasn't. So I did find that very interesting. It was a slow burn.
I do think that there is also like a generational thing with film pacing.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, a lot of movies today are faster than movies from, this is early 80s, but it's early 80s, but if at times it feels more like a 70s movie than it does an 80s movie because it's early 80s. John Carpenter also, his pacing in movies isn't the fastest anyways. Like, that's Halloween is a slower paced movie, I think. A well-paced movie, but it's very slow compared to, like, the Rob Zombie Halloween or the 2018 Halloween from few years ago. 2018.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jeremy? What's your personal relationship?
Well, similar to Annalisa, I watched this movie for the first time now about 15 minutes ago. But I mean, like, to quote my favorite filmmaker, this movie fucking rules. This movie was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I actually think the pacing, like, it is a slower paced movie, but and at first, like, the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is happening in this movie? I think that was, like, now having seen the whole movie, like, genius to just jump right in.
Yeah.
Because it grabs your attention immediately, so it doesn't have time to lose your attention with the slower pacing the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
I loved it. I thought it was really great. We'll talk about it with the Letterboxd reviews later, but I'm really glad that we took your advice, and I'm very thankful that you told us to go in completely blind.
And I'm really happy. I'm sad because I wanted to go in and record your guys' reactions while we watched this, but we had some Mickey Don Dons and I was eating, and then I wanted to watch the movie. So I didn't do that, but y'all had some great reactions. This actually, can I say?
Yeah, you absolutely.
This actually got an involuntary scream from Jeremy.
Yeah. That was crazy. This is the first, and I jump scare, I guess, a little easily, but I don't really scare easily.
Right.
And there was a moment in this movie that legitimately made me, like, involuntarily scream. Like, I yelled out, and then I looked over at Austin, and I said, that was involuntary. Yeah. I thought that was a really genius jump scare. And we can get to that scene later on, but, like, I thought that, because when we come back to me when we do our superlative favorite scare, okay? Because I'll give you why I think that was geniusly shot.
That is a scene that is studied too. So, like, it was really cool for me to see you react to a scene that is so loved in the horror world.
I feel like something that was really fun about this viewing, at least I imagine it must be for you, is I feel like even when we show people movies that we know they haven't seen before and we're really excited to show them, we're focused more on their overall reactions. But because we're doing, like, an analytical podcast, you got to think about the movie itself from the perspective of, like, somebody who's studying it.
Yeah.
And also watch us react to the things like that are studied.
Right.
And know, like, kind of look at us as if you are a film scientist, you know? And I think that's probably pretty cool.
It was fun.
So, historical context. I got nothing.
I got you.
So tell me, I know who John Carpenter is.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
So this movie has some history to it. It is based off of a novella by John W. Campbell.
Okay.
Called Who Goes There? This novella comes out in 1938.
Okay.
It also has another name, The Thing from Another World. This novella was adapted into a film in 1951 called The Thing from Another World. And it was directed by Christian Nyby. It was a Howard Hawks production. It is a fantastic 50s film if you're into 50s films. So I know a lot of people, they don't like films from that era, which is fine. But I like 50s films, so I like... And there's also a little bit of childhood nostalgia for me for that one. It's so different from it's like rated G happy fun times compared to what we get in 1982. So John Carpenter, fresh off of a string of hits like Halloween, The Fog, and Escape from New York, which also stars Kurt Russell, John Carpenter gets a call from Universal, who is remaking The Thing from Another World. They think John Carpenter is the guy to do it. And there's actually, like, we watched Halloween or in /tober of last year. They're watching The Thing at one point, that original 50s, The Thing from Another World. So John Carpenter manifested this. He's a huge Howard Hawks fan. This is like if someone asked me to do a Jurassic Park movie. That's what this is like for John Carpenter.
Right.
So he says yes. Gets his guys, gets Dean Cundey, gets Kurt Russell, brings in some more people he'll work with again, like Keith David. And fun fact, we'll talk about this more later, this is the first film John Carpenter got to have a composer.
Oh, okay.
he usually has to do it himself because but this is Universal. This is a big studio movie. He gets Ennio Morricone.
Right. He gets like a real composer.
Not just a real composer, a legend.
Yeah.
Like a top dog, a big dog in the composing world. So John Carpenter gets to make his dream project. It comes out June 25th, 1982, and people hate this movie. People hate this movie so much.
Really?
This was not well received. The critics hated it. The audiences didn't even go see it. This movie bombed hard. And John Carpenter, it almost destroyed his career.
I'm like pretty surprised. Not even like quality of movie wise, but just like I feel like off of Halloween, people would want to go see it just because it's John Carpenter. I mean, like, and I know he wasn't John Carpenter yet, but he did Halloween. He
did The Fog. He did Escape from New York.
Right.
These are all hits.
Right. I guess I'm surprised.
I'm just curious. So, like, because obviously it becomes eventually, I know you're getting there, but it becomes a cult classic, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think, as a filmmaker yourself, I'm just curious, do you think that he'd be more, I'm so glad this film is finally getting the attention that I felt it deserves? Or do you think it's more of a, like, hey, fuck you guys. This movie was good when it came out, god damn it.
Judging from what I've heard in his interviews, I mean, I've never personally interviewed John Carpenter. I've never met the man. I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
He is happy that people like it. He's just like, I just wish people liked it when it came out. And I'll kind of go through, but there's a lot of reasons why The Thing did not do well. It comes out the summer of 82. Fun fact, this came out the same day as Blade Runner, if you guys are fans of that movie, which also didn't do... Blade Runner was also considered a critical and commercial failure at the time, but I think Blade Runner did a little better than The Thing. The big movie for this summer was E.T.
Okay. Yeah.
E.T. dominated.
Yeah.
And they're both alien movies. That's where the similarity is. No, they're both alien movies produced and distributed by Universal Studios. That's where the similarities end. They cannot be any further apart. But basically, this movie was extremely bleak. It's very nihilistic. And there's a recession in 82, so people were already depressed.
Right.
And, like, the 80s are just starting, but you get a lot of escapist films in the 80s.
Right.
Audiences aren't really looking for these darker, paranoia-filled, bleak movies. So it's not until this movie comes out on VHS where it starts to show life, because kids start watching this movie. They start seeing these amazing practical effects. Mm-hmm. It's a generation that grew up with this movie, Gen X. When they become adults and they start doing their film blogs, they become film reviewers, they become filmmakers. That's when The Thing, or just normal people growing up, that's when The Thing starts to garner appreciation.
Right.
So, remember my personal connection story earlier where I said my grandpa hated this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it from he grew up with the 50s version.
Right.
Then comes this ultra bleak, ultra grotesque, very violent film that is almost nothing like the version he grew up with, where the thing is like Frankenstein had a baby with broccoli. That's the 50s version. The 80s version has a lot more to do with is a much more faithful adaptation of the novella than the 50s version. But also, they weren't doing this shit in the 50s, practical effects wise. Like,
Right.
there's a meme I think about often, and Jeremy, you'll appreciate this a lot. Lisa, you will too, but there's a meme of the scene from Back to the Future where Marty McFly's like, I guess you guys weren't ready for that, but your kids are going to love it. And it's just talking about John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, this movie tanked when it first came out. It did so bad that John Carpenter got fired from directing his next picture.
What was his next
He was
picture?
supposed to do Firestarter with Drew Barrymore.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He got fired from that, and but the movies beforehand, he had a multi-film contract at Universal, but The Thing performed so poorly that the studio opted to buy him out instead.
Wild.
Yeah. And this is John Carpenter. There was a review that, and John Carpenter's mentioned this a couple times, that a review called him a pornographer of violence.
Okay.
Which is wild. Like, people were not ready for this movie.
Apparently not.
But it comes out on VHS. It garners appreciation. Now it's beloved.
Yeah.
And I think things work out the way they're supposed to. Because if John Carpenter doesn't get fired from Firestarter, doesn't make these movies for Universal, he doesn't go back to indie horror. So he doesn't make Christine.
Right.
He did
Which
not
you
want to
love.
do. It's my favorite.
I know.
But he didn't want to do Christine.
I didn't know that.
He took that job because he just got fired and he didn't know if he was going to get another job.
Yeah.
But Christine, it's my favorite of his films. He goes on a tear, which is like the Prince of Darkness, They Live, Starman. He makes a lot of bangers in the 80s. But these are all more indie movies.
Right.
But he has a different career trajectory, for better or for worse. But yeah, this movie, it's just kind of, like, my reaction to it, it's just kind of grown in appreciate. Now it's considered one of the greatest horror films ever made.
Right.
Which it's like, time is the ultimate test.
That's true.
So.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I know it worked out in the end, but that must have sucked so hard.
Yes.
Yeah, nowadays you see it at the top of the greatest movies of all time list. Definitely, or at least on the greatest movies of all time list. You see it at the top of horror movie lists. A bunch of people say how it's their favorite horror movie of all time. And I think the body horror, I guess I'm kind of transitioning us to cultural impact.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay.
But to bring it back to historical context, didn't do great.
Yeah.
A little too real for audiences in the 80s.
Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense thinking about it culturally and contextually. It's always stuff like that that makes me wonder, like, what is going to be the cult classics of our time? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, whenever you see those movies that you're like, that was a really fucking good movie. Nobody cared about it.
Like, for
And I
me,
always
one of
wonder.
those is The Nice Guys by Shane Black
Yes.
with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
Absolutely.
I
I think a lot of Ryan Gosling's, like, filmography that isn't, like,
La La Land or...
La La Land, The Notebook, and Barbie
right.
deserve to be further recognized than they are.
Oh, definitely. Steven Spielberg's West Side Story,
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say
Say
it. Wicked is getting the flowers that West Side Story deserves. Fight me in the comments. I don't give a shit.
I love Wicked, and I agree with that. I think that's the truth.
And I actually liked Wicked Part 2.
Which is crazy that that's the one that you enjoy. That's okay.
I mean, I enjoyed Part 1 in the same way I enjoy, like, I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but at the same time, I'm struggling of thinking of a nice way to say.
That's fair.
Because I don't hate the movie, but it's just like, it's like, it is what it is. Fuck it, we ball. What is our next?
So, getting into our topic of the month, which is
Code.
Cold as Ice. Yeah, so this movie, majorly, as I mentioned, takes place at a research facility in Antarctica. And the ice and the snow as the foundation kind of proves, like, it makes the setting, and this is something that happens a lot in winter movies and something that I feel like we're going to talk about a lot this month. It makes the setting a living and breathing thing.
Yeah.
It is a character. It's part of the story. First of all, because obviously it's not without its difficulties to be at a cold winter's night while they are trying to flamethrow the shit out of a bunch of aliens. But also because the alien itself is not averse to the cold, does not have like a problem with being in the cold.
Right.
So it makes kind of it makes it more challenging on both levels for both the alien itself and for the people, because on one hand the thing is trying to remain covert. Like, until it has the upper hand, it's trying to get itself to spread throughout the entire crew. And it cannot do that if it is being loud about the fact that it's a giant alien that's going to tear you from the inside out. Until the last second, of course. But yeah, I find that interesting. So on that end, it's challenging for the creature, but it's also challenging for the crew because of obvious reasons. Again, like, they do not want to freeze to death while they are fighting the monster, at least at first. By the end, they have realized it's kind of a lost cause in terms of
they're
survival.
not making it out,
so it's kind of more just about, like, burn it all the fuck down. But at the beginning, it is a challenge because of that.
At the end, it's like, if we're gonna go down, we're gonna go down swinging mentality. Can I say something?
Yeah.
It might be cold as ice, so the thing wants to be where it's hot-blooded.
And that's another foreigner reference.
Jukebox Hero.
And that's a third. But yeah, so one of the touches, and like, again, this is not to get too ahead of ourselves, but I want to talk about the last scene because I feel like it's important, especially with the context of our theme.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert for the last scene. Go and watch the movie. Again, we've been talking about it for 20 minutes. You need to
30 minutes.
30 minutes. You need to watch the fucking movie.
So good.
But in the last scene, Kurt Russell's character, who has a name for sure,
McCready.
RJ
McCready.
RJ McCready, and his friend Keith Davis
Childs
are the only two left standing.
His friend is so after watching that movie.
They're not friends, but that's not the point. The point is that the two crew members who are left are Kurt Russell's character McCready and Keith David's character Childs. And they had gotten separated as they were burning down the camp, trying to rid them of what's going on. And they're having this conversation at the end where they're both just exhausted and they've kind of resigned themselves to, we're going to die here. Let's just sit down. And it's subtle. It's so subtle that I missed it and we had to rewatch it.
In your defense, it was the first time you've seen the movie.
To be fair, yes. But if you've watched it several times, you have probably noticed that in the close-up shots, McCready is breathing and you can see his breath because they are outside, and you cannot see Childs' breath. And it's such a good touch because Kurt Russell kind of has this like knowing smirk on his face. Like, he's almost like, I tried my best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like that is, you're right. I mean, like I when you put it into the historical context of what is going on at the time, it makes sense that people did not enjoy the cynical nature of this movie. It's not a happy ending. And it's not even like a, well, it's sad that they're both going to die, but we did it. We saved the world. They didn't. It was for nothing.
So how do you interpret the end? Because that ending is done in a way to where there are multiple readings of it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the way that I interpret it was that Childs had got by the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And something that Kurt Russell says earlier is like, the monster is going to, he's not affected by the cold, so he's going to like rest until the like rescue plane comes to get him. So like, whether that's at the end of winter or whenever they are planning on being picked up, or if they send a distress signal out, I don't know. But they're going to wait till they get picked up. They're going to get picked up by the helicopter and then spread the disease to the world.
Mm-hmm.
That was how I interpret it.
There are a lot of different readings of the ending if you just go online, which I'm sure all of you are going to do after listening to this episode.
Or during recording.
So many people have asked John Carpenter what the ending means, because the ending's ambiguous.
Yeah,
right?
it really is, because like, I mean, with McReady's smirk, it's, yeah.
Right. And you can also play it as like all of that breath. Maybe it's the tell that he's the alien. Maybe the breath is a red herring. Neither of them are. Both of them are, you know? So there's different elements at play to where there's a lot of different ways to read this scene. And people have asked John Carpenter straight up, what does it mean? What is the answer? And John Carpenter has said, like, every time, I know the answer, but telling you guys defeats the purpose of the film.
Right.
And John Carpenter's right. He knows that any answer he can give is going to be disappointing. You know, it's better because it's like reading books, you know. What's in your head is always better than what can be created. Mm-hmm. Or, movies where it's like the monster's hidden in shadows a lot because your imagination is always scarier.
Yeah.
So I love that ending.
So this is also partially why, like, I think this is such a good allegory for, like, what it means to be human. Mm-hmm. And how part of the fundamental core of being a human is deciding on trust. Yeah. And specifically in building a community. The whole movie, actions done by both the Thing and humans cause others to not trust each other and to lose that trust. And as such, become less human. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like The Most Dangerous Game, right? Where, like, I don't know if you remember reading that in 9th grade, but I guess, spoiler alert for The Most Dangerous Game if you haven't read it. But the whole premise of that is that it's this guy who is on this island and he hunts humans. And so when this celebrated hunter ends up on his island, he traps him and he decides to hunt him. And at the very end of the story, the hunter, Zaroff is the human hunter, but the hunter of animals who he is hunting, which is confusing, Rainsford, kills Zaroff, thus kind of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy where you can either say that killing humans is murder and there's never a justification for it, or you can say that you are kill or be killed. Yeah. And that kind of happens in this story as well, where there are times where it's proven they kill humans. Yep. They kill people. At least once that I can think of off of the top of my head. And I think that kind of is shown in the ending, right? Because the two characters and the audience, to some extent, have lost all trust in any of the characters. We see that knowing smirk on his face and we go, that's not right. We see Keith Davids' character Childs not breathing, like with the air, and we're like, that's not right. So something's going on here. Something's fishy. In reality, it could, I mean, the ending is ambiguous. It's ambiguous on purpose because they want us as the audience to feel the way that the crew is feeling.
Right.
And to kind of, as the audience, lose a little bit of our humanity. What would we do in that situation?
Right.
Do we let it play out? Do we have trust that our compatriot is innocent? Or do we do the hard thing and lose a little bit of our humanity? And so I just, I don't know. I don't think there's a cut and dry answer. Here's the thing. Is John Carpenter saying, I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you guys? He certainly could know the answer, or the answer could be that there's no answer, or the answer could be that they're both human, or the answer could be that one of them is an alien. We don't know what he knows, what he quote unquote knows. And so we're kind of stuck on this loop of deciding what is quote unquote right. And I like that.
Nobody trusts each other, and we're all very tired.
Me always. Me at school with my children. So yeah, ice.
Code. You
did kind of already start to get into cultural impact during this, but I do want to kind of talk about like John Carpenter and like who he is. I know we've talked about him before, obviously.
Yeah, this is our second time covering a John Carpenter film, previous being Halloween.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, we've really only done 2, huh? That's fucking crazy. But yeah, so he kind of goes through this dip, right, where he does the thing, but then he goes on to do Christine. And I don't know, like, here's the problem. Here's my problem. I like a lot of movies, and I don't know which ones are critically, like, received very well versus which ones are not. So I can tell you that I really like the movie Big Trouble in Little China.
I think that one's up.
But I don't know. I don't know how that one was, like, taken.
Well, I'll put his career like this. He will forever be... His most famous movie is Halloween.
Well, yes.
He will forever be known for Halloween first. The Thing is his best movie.
Okay.
That is his magnum opus, even if people didn't realize it at the time. A lot of his movies after The Thing, because in between Halloween and The Thing, you get The Fog, you get Escape from New York, and those are pretty well-known movies, but I don't think they're like... the most famous movies. Escape from New York, a little bit, the icon, like the poster, everyone knows that poster at the very least. But after The Thing, you get Christine, which my favorite John Carpenter movie. It's also my favorite Stephen King adaptation. That movie's not an A-list movie.
Okay.
Right, like most people know it, but if you think of Stephen King adaptations, most people will think of The Shining first, or It first, or Carrie first. You know, I can name a couple before most people name Christine. Right. With John Carpenter, it's always Halloween or it's always The Thing. Big Trouble in Little China, I think, is one of his bigger movies. It has Kurt Russell in it. People like that movie, but I don't think John Carpenter's ever had the big hit.
Okay.
In the sense of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm not going to say E.T. because E.T.'s an unreal, what's the word I'm looking for? Milestone. That was the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to put him up there where Steven Spielberg and James Cameron live because they're on a tier of their own. John Carpenter, I don't think is as well... I mean, he's a master of horror. He's probably the top dog when it comes to horror. Him and Wes Craven. When we did Wes Craven month, we kind of said, you know, John Carpenter's 1A, Wes Craven's 1B. But in all of their filmographies, Scream might have been the biggest box office hit.
Yeah.
In terms of like commercial success, while Halloween might be the most culturally impactful. And then The Thing was kind of like how the movie's a slow burn, its success was a slow burn.
Yeah.
So at the time, the thing was not a success. Now, like I said earlier, it's considered one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So many films reference The Thing.
Yeah.
And now that you've seen The Thing, you're going to see it. It's like The Shining.
Yeah.
Once you see The Shining, you see it everywhere
Mm-hmm.
in movies. And The Thing is very much like that. So while we're talking about cultural impact, let's talk about body horror for a second.
Yep.
Because it's not the first body horror movie. David Cronenberg was doing Cronenberg things beforehand. But the kids who grew up with this movie, this is Rob Bottin.
Mm-hmm.
This comes out the year after The Howling and American Werewolf in London. I bring up The Howling because that's also Rob Bottin.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned on the Pumpkinhead episode, Stan Winston was on this set. He helped out with these effects, and Stan Winston goes on to do body horror in like The Terminator. Aliens obviously has some body horror in it, but The Thing kind of like is the first big movie, because while it was a bomb, it was a big movie with studio budget behind it and studio resources. And a big reason why it looks so amazing is because they put a lot of those resources to those special effects.
Yeah.
So after The Thing, you get like David Cronenberg's The Fly is the other, like, the big dog in body horror.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, Hellraiser gets in on the action. Body horror still going strong with The Substance.
Mm-hmm.
There were moments where you guys see some of The Thing in action, and you guys are like, Monstro Elizasu?
Yep.
So
I also think like it's important to mention, if we're talking about cultural impact, just some examples of the way The Thing is referenced.
Mm-hmm.
So like I looked it up because obviously again I'm new here, but some of the most obvious ones, I think we talked about the one in It Chapter 2.
Not while recording, actually.
No, I know, but we talked about it before we started recording.
So let's mention that real quick.
Yeah.
So you lovely listeners can know, in case you haven't seen it, but you guys might be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Spoiler alerts for It Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
When the grown-up kids go into the Pennywise house to, like, kill Pennywise, he's taunting them with hallucination, doing Pennywise shit, and one of these hallucinations is Stan's head when he was a kid, and then it grows spider legs, and then there's this big moment where the camera just goes right up into Bill Hader's face, and he says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And that is, like, beat for beat what happens in The Thing.
It's also probably a reference to Richard Mazer, right? Richard Mazer, who was Clark in The Thing, and he's also Stan in the miniseries, like the It with Tim Curry.
I didn't know that. I didn't recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say right now, if you're watching a horror movie post 1982, and they say you gotta be fucking kidding,
it's a reference to The Thing. I now
Yeah.
understand that. Stranger Things.
Oh, there's a lot of things.
The whole fucking flamethrowers, kill it with fire, how they get into the upside down and shit. That is all The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, there's a ton. And, like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I mentioned this also off mic, but I'm pretty sure that the scene in Toy Story with Sid and the fucked up toys and the baby head on a spider legs is gotta be a reference to The Thing as well.
Right.
So.
Well, we talked about it while watching the movie. This isn't a movie, this is video game, but Among Us.
Yeah. Yeah, if Among Us is not a direct, like...
Oh, it so is. The next time you play Among Us, you're going to be like, this is just The Thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, just going on Wikipedia real quick, it's like it's been referenced in a variety of films, or TV shows and films, from The X-Files, Futurama, Stranger Things, Resident Evil 4, Tomb Raider 3, Among Us, and then films like The Faculty, Slither, The Mist. Oh, I see The Mist parallel really, and The Faculty. Yeah, that makes sense. On this Wikipedia page.
What about Sinners?
Oh yeah, I said this because the blood test scene in The Thing. I told you guys, like, I watched Sinners. I see the garlic test, and I'm like, oh, this is The Thing.
Yeah.
They're doing The Thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so fun. I'm looking at this Wikipedia page, and according to that, several filmmakers who have said that The Thing influenced their own work include Guillermo del Toro, James DeMonico, J.J. Abrams, Neil Blomkamp, David Robert Mitchell, Rob Hardy, Stephen S. DeKnight, Quentin Tarantino, and Brian Patrick Butler, Edgar Wright. There's so many more. Tarantino said, like, The Hateful Eight specifically, there's a lot of he takes a lot from The Thing, including Kurt Russell and Ennio Morricone, and the winter setting.
Isn't there a scene in Trick or Treat where Sam's hand is crawling towards a character and he says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me"?
I think so. I don't remember him, but I'm sure
I feel like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I always think of the Hatchet film series by Adam Green.
Mm-hmm.
That name will pop up later this month. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, hint.
But in every Hatchet movie, there's a character that says, "You gotta be fucking kidding."
Now I feel like I'm gonna see that specifically all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
When I'll save it for when we talk about this movie later. Just know that I'm gonna save it. What I was gonna say, save it. All I'm gonna say though, with the "you gotta be fucking kidding," is Tony Todd says it in Hatchet 2. It makes me so happy.
That is good. Okay, are we ready for our... I can do it. Hang on. Super thinglatives. Nope, that was nothing. Soothingatives.
Superlatives.
Okay, that was better. Are we ready for them though?
Yeah.
All right.
Because you're cold as ice.
Who would you save?
Okay, so Knowles. I don't know how to say his Knowles.
That sounds right.
Because he likes Superstition by Stevie Wonder.
That's true.
Also, I don't know what happens to him. I've seen this movie like 7 times in my lifetime. And I never remember what... We just watched this movie.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember what happened to him.
Well, I looked it up. He simply walks off into a tunnel and is never seen again, leading to the assumption that he was assimilation by the creature.
I'd save him.
Sounds good.
Maybe he made it.
I believe that he did. Why not?
How about you? Who would you save?
I would save the dog. All of the dogs, but specifically the first dog. This is untenable. This is terrible. Here's the thing. Is like obviously the first scene of the movie is like an alien spaceship landing. Like I get it. Yeah, okay, cool. It's about aliens. That's great. I was not for the life of me in any way, shape, or form expecting him to turn inside out and have spider legs and also little stringy bits coming out of his whole body.
Well, did you know he was the alien until that happened?
I mean, I didn't until he like got into the cage, and then when he got into the cage and was just like very still, I was like, something's fucking up with that dog. And there was like one scene beforehand where like he kind of like walked into a room, and I was like, maybe, yeah. So I would save the dog.
What that dog doing?
What that dog doing? Can I pet that dog?
His head splits open. What that dog doing?
Okay. Favorite scare.
I want Jeremy to go first.
All right. Jeremy, tell us about your screaming adventure.
So, in this movie, there's a scene where Kurt Russell he has everybody tied up. He's holding them at flamethrower point.
Yep.
And he is testing their blood because he has this theory, which is like, he's just a helicopter pilot, but he's over here and he's just like, I know this is what will happen scientifically. And he is heating up this like copper wire so he can hold it to the blood, saying the organism is going to react. If it's normal human blood, nothing's going to happen. If it's the organism in the blood, it's going to try to survive.
Yeah.
And he goes one by one. He goes one by one down the couch. He gets to the people he gets one guy he shot in the face, and then tested his blood. That dude was fine. He was not fine, but he was not an alien.
He was not a thing.
But as he's going down, one of the guys goes, "This is bullshit. This is a stupid idea. It will never work." And Kurt Russell's holding the tray of blood in his hands. And he said, "I figured you might say that. We'll save your blood for last." And at that point, I was like, that's right. This guy's probably the thing. And he's trying to say, this is dumb. You shouldn't even be testing this. So I just assumed he was going to get all the way to the end. And then that guy's blood was going to do the thing. It was going to be all crazy. Yeah. I just, didn't see the one in his hand being the thing. I did not see it coming. So he puts the copper wire to the blood, and it jumps out at him. And I shrieked.
This is true. I can confirm I was there.
And it legitimately startled me to a point where I was like, wow, that was an involuntary scream. I haven't done that to a movie in a while. But yeah, that was my favorite scare. Just because, I don't know, jump scares are fun.
Yeah, when they're done so well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think it was such a great misdirect.
Yeah.
Such a good misdirect. I just really assumed that, it wasn't going to happen on that one.
And people rag on jump scares, and I get it.
Mm-hmm. They're easy. They're cheap a little bit.
Well, they're not easy.
Well, no.
But they're done all the time.
Right.
A lot of times, not well.
Sure.
So audiences are like, come on. But John Carpenter is a master.
Yeah.
James Wan, there's a reason why the Conjuring movies do so well.
Right.
And Insidious. James Wan's a master of the jump scare. Sinister has some of the best jump scares. A good jump scare is just...
Yeah, that was great.
And that is one of the best jump scares. And that scene is, dissected.
I think
the blood test scene is famous.
I think the last movie and jump scare that got me even close to as good was Jaws. When he's underwater and the body floats out.
Mm-hmm. That's also... Steven Spielberg, cold take...
He's pretty
good. Yeah. He knows how to make a motion picture. But
what are your guys's?
Mine is... I feel like the most obvious one is the dog. Again, that was just so unexpected. Because, again, I went in totally blind. I did not
Yeah, you didn't know the dog was about to do his Demogorgon impersonation.
Right. If I knew specifically what the thing was going to look like, I might have been more expectant of that, but I was, in fact, not.
Yeah, no one's expecting.
No. I did also really enjoy when that one dude's stomach went full Audrey too.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite. I think that was my most fun scare.
I love that part so much. Because I didn't see that coming when I remember, I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
He went all the way in.
All the way in. What about you?
So, I remember this vividly from the first time I watched it because it actually scared me. And it's not the things that, when I say scare, I jump at random stuff, right? It's easy to jump scare me, but stuff that gets under my skin. Yeah. When I say I got scared, I mean that. Mm-hmm. And when it happens, I tend to remember it.
Okay.
When I just, I get the heebies, I get the jeebies, I shiver.
Yeah.
When I think Jennings is trying to run away and he gets caught by the crew and he has his alien hands, little claw-like hands, and he just stands up and he looks at everyone and he has those dead eyes. He goes and he just starts yowling. It's this horrible alien sound. I remember the first time seeing this, and I was like, I'm scared. And the rest of the movies, fucking rules, and I love it. It's sick as hell. But that part, I'm like, Mom, pick me up. I'm scared.
Fair.
And that scene, that moment still gets under my skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this cosmic horror. Like, what is this that really unnerves me? So
Yeah. Okay. Who is your Tony Todd Award for movie MVP?
honorary Tony Todd Award goes to that dog, because it is some of the finest dog acting I've ever seen in a movie.
That is genuinely and unironically true.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not kidding, but I'm gonna give my Tony Todd. There's so many contenders for this, right? And I like to give it to the character actors, but you know what? I have to give it to Rob Bottin and his special effects team for the creatures and the gore and the like. Obviously Spiderhead, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like the dog and like all this, the monster shit is sick as hell. But it's like the little things too, where it's like the frozen blood from a slit wrist.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool shit. And like it goes. This practical effects and this are just amazing. They're just chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And they're goopy.
Yeah.
This is a goopy movie.
Accurate.
So I'm going to give it to Rob Bottin and his special effects team. How about you?
I'm going to go ahead and stick with acting and give it to Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I really enjoy him, and I think he does a really good job in this movie playing like first act very surface level, like I'm the gritty hero who just is like here to be macho and cool and I take the lead. But then by the end, like you can see that this is like really getting to him. I mean, like he is making moral choices that are not always the correct choices. I mean, when he like realizes that there was nothing wrong with that guy that he killed,
yeah,
you can see it in his face that he's like not okay. So
right.
Yeah, I think he does a really good job.
I had such a hard time picking who I was going to give it to because I wanted to give it to Kurt Russell.
Fair.
And kind of want to give it to Keith David, but I'm like, am I giving it to Keith David because of what he's doing here? And he's doing great here. That line reading of like, Childs, what if we're wrong? Well, then we're wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that line because every time I'm just like, damn, chill.
Yeah.
Childs, chill. But I'm also like, part of me is like, am I giving this award to Keith David just because I love Keith David? And I do love Keith David. Very similar trajectory to Tony Todd, which makes him, yeah. And they were both in Platoon. Fun fact.
That's true. Did know that.
But yeah, I stand by Rob Bottin, but I also had Kurt Russell and Keith David on my short list, and obviously John Carpenter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then shout out Dean Cundy for his cinematography, because the shadows in this movie and the lighting is just, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous. Moving on to somebody else who could also be a movie MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Is the score better than Jaws?
No.
But
It's similar.
it is similar.
We go from ba-dum to boom boom. Boom boom.
It's so good. It's very repetitive. But
Yeah.
I think like in a movie where, you are talking about the vast never-ending tundra, like that makes sense. Ennio Morricone.
Ennio Morricone is legend.
Yes. First of all, did a million bajillion movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just a million bajillion. Like that's how many movies. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
That's not even like, that is the actual number.
It really just is. Like
That's not hyperbole.
He was already going from the 50s, and this is 1982, and he has more after this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, things that you might know Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
Ennio Morricone. Besides The Thing.
Dum boom.
Probably The Untouchables.
I always think of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly
The
first.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah, that's
Wah,
an
wah,
obvious one.
wah.
Yeah, you definitely know that one. He also did a really wonderful score for, well, he reworked the score for the movie for the Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of more recent ones that he's done. I'm going through his whole filmography, but the problem is there's a million.
Right. Well, he won his Oscar for Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight.
Yes. I can't believe it took him that long, to be honest.
Right. But yeah, The Untouchables is a great pull.
Mm-hmm. And like throughout his whole career too, something that I liked is that he's from Italy. He never stopped doing Italian cinema as well.
Yeah. Which I think is really cool.
I do think that's very cool. But yeah, he's definitely probably most known for The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I would kind of agree that I think his best score is The Hateful Eight. I really love The Hateful Eight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's done so much.
My favorite of his scores is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But I'm a sucker for those trumpet solos.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Trio.
He did Frantic.
Oh, okay.
I love Frantic. The Roman Polanski Harrison Ford movie.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Which is...
It's Roman Polanski and Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
And Ennio Morricone.
I love two of those things, and I very, very fucking hate the other.
Well, me too, but like he is still prolific.
No, I get it.
I mean, I get that you really, really hate fucking...
Don't you even joke about that.
I won't say it. I can't.
Don't put that into the universe.
It was so funny the way you knew exactly what I was going to say.
But you can hear our complicated thoughts on Roman Polanski in our Rosemary's Baby episode.
That's true. We did talk about it.
We did a couple back in September.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this story real quick.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter had to score a lot of his own films.
Mm-hmm.
He's a talented musician.
Yeah.
He's been in bands and stuff, and he don't mind, but a lot of the scoring that he did was due to necessity because they didn't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a musician, and he's like, fuck it. He was like, Thanos, I'll do it myself. And like, Halloween is one of the greatest scores of all time, so it's like, John Carpenter made this score in a cave with a cheap synth.
Yeah.
That's an Iron Man paraphrased reference for you folks.
That is true. It is that.
But he's, he gets Universal money to do the thing, and he gets to work with a legendary composer, Ennio Morricone, who is legendary at this point. It's not like Steven Spielberg and John Williams getting together while they're both relatively early in their careers. Ennio Morricone's established as a legend. He had, John Carpenter is so pumped, so excited to work with a composer in general, not just one of the best to ever do it, but to not do it himself.
That's, fair.
And Ennio Morricone's going to be like, I'm going to give you the most John Carpenter score possible. Like, if you didn't know someone else did the score, it would be easy to assume that John Carpenter did that.
That's probably true, yeah.
But it's also just perfect for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. I can't say it's better than Jaws, but I do think it's a perfect score to this movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
I just think it's so funny that John Carpenter is like dreaming of like this big, lush, orchestral,
Right.
Especially because John Carpenter loves Western movies.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make Westerns, but they weren't making Westerns when he was making movies.
I knew that, yeah.
So, he gets to work with one of the best, especially in the Western genre. And Ennio Morricone's just like, I'm going to do you, but better.
Yeah.
And you can't argue with it, John. It's still brilliant. And John Carpenter's still, from what I can tell, still happy with it.
Yep.
So, that's my story.
It's a good story. A fine addition to your collection. Do you own this one?
I do. I have it. I think I have 2 Blu-ray copies of it.
Okay. Why?
I think so. I got it my first Blu-ray like 2012, 2011 maybe. I got it really early on.
Okay.
And I got my second copy because I thought I bought a 4K.
Oh.
But it was just like, it was a Blu-ray copy it had 2 discs and stuff. It had pretty packaging and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be a 4K. It was a Blu-ray, and I'm like, I'm still keeping it. I don't have too much like collectible stuff of this one, but I do have a McCready Funko Pop.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I wanted to get the spider head. I showed my mom the spider, friend of the show, my mom, the spider head Funko Pop. I showed it to her and she's like, oh, fuck that.
Friend of the show, my mom is hilarious.
And then I have a Thing shirt. I'm wearing it.
You are.
And
it's a good Thing shirt. I want it.
I have 2 Thing shirts actually, but the one I'm wearing is like pink and blue. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Thing patch on my jean jacket.
You do.
It's if you don't know, it's like one of those patches where like if you don't know, you wouldn't think twice, but if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I would actually really like to own this one.
It's good.
The only thing that I don't love is that I don't love the cover of the Blu-ray. But
Is
that's
it-
fine.
So what's the cover of the? Because I have 2 different covers.
So here's the thing: is I just looked it up. I keep doing that. I just looked it up, and Barnes and Noble has like a collector's edition DVD that has a really cool cover. But then the Blu-ray is the really weird looking spaceman,
Okay, so that's like the movie poster,
like the movie poster,
the iconic movie poster.
Yeah.
Like that used to be the VHS cover. That's like the
Gotcha.
Jaws poster.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's like my first Blu-ray copy. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second one, it's Kurt Russell in his leather jacket and he's cold.
Oh, see, that one's cool.
Yeah.
I want that one.
So
Kurt
they're
Russell
out
in his
there.
leather jacket being cold. Anyway,
But
I
I
will keep an eye out.
I also like that classic movie poster, but
Mm-hmm. Fair.
even though it's like, well, it's funny because you look at that and it's like Among Us.
Yeah, that's real. All right, everybody get out your Letterboxd reviews.
Let's go.
I gave this 5 stars and a heart.
5-star banger. Let's go.
I really, really love this movie. And then my review says, big props to whomever remembered to pack the flamethrower.
That's real. That's real. I gave this 4 stars and a heart.
Fuck.
Sorry. I didn't know that we were all doing 5-star bangers.
That's still good.
But it's
It's
still
good.
very good. And I said, well, ... it's certainly a thing.
Hey.
All right. Austin.
So, in my Letterboxd era, I have watched this film 5 times. I've reviewed it 4 times.
Okay.
My ratings have gone from 2020 to 2022, 4.5 stars.
Okay.
2020 October 2023, I bumped it up to 5-star banger, and I'm keeping it as 5-star banger as of tonight's watch.
Mm-hmm.
My most recent one review, which I wrote tonight, Me When Husky. Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog?
Me When Thing. Can I pet that dog?
Real.
Me When Spiderhead. Can I pet that dog? Me When Blood Test. Can I pet that dog?
Real.
And then you're going to love this. On October 14th, 2023, I saw this movie at the Redford Theater with friend of the show, John. And I saw on a 35 millimeter print from the 80s with an energetic and a rowdy crowd. It was awesome. And then I said, what the dog doing?
What the dog doing?
So back in 2023, I was still making that joke.
That's hilarious.
And I like those ones. So yeah, I've actually seen this movie twice in theaters. First time I saw it in theaters, me and friend of the show, my mom, we saw it for the 40th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
with some family friends, and then I saw it with friend of the show John in 2023 at the Redford. And there was this guy a couple rows ahead of us. He was sloshed. He was like fucking wasted. Like the alcohol cells assimilated his body. Like he was gone.
Yikes.
And it was to the point where he was annoying too. Like he wasn't even funny. He was just loud. And anyways, in the intermission, he got up for whatever and like never came back. It was awesome.
Oh, well.
But yeah,
That's wild.
it was a great experience because like it was a 35 millimeter print from the 80s, so it didn't age particularly well, and like
Gotcha.
reels 2 and 4 had this red tint to it.
Oh, well.
And there's cigarette burns and just
Right, yeah.
But I mean, one, I've seen the movie before, so it's fine. But I like when I've seen the movie before, seeing movies like that because it's like, oh yeah, 40 years ago is a long time,
Right.
and it's like watching history, film history, So, what is the next superlative thing?
So the next superlative thing is Supernatural alumni, of which there are none. So we move on to our special edition superlative, which, Jeremy, would you like to explain what you came up with for this month?
So for Cold as Ice month, and given that we just kind of had our big first couple of snowfalls in Michigan, I thought it'd be fun to think about which character would you prefer to build a snowman with?
I love it. Would you like to take the honors of going first?
I would. I would love to build a snowman with the dog.
Da dog.
The first dog.
Not able to build a snowman.
He can. Well, pre change.
That's not. He doesn't have thumbs.
But
He can help.
all he's gotta do is push a ball. That's like their thing.
Be emotional support.
Yeah.
That's fair, I suppose.
In all seriousness, I think of people characters,
Mm-hmm.
McCready.
He's too cool.
He's too cool,
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would be like, all right, let's make a snowman, and I start making it, and like I feel like we would make two snowmen. Like he would make one, and I would make one, and like mine would be like a normal like snowman, like big snowball, medium snowball, small snowball, and like I'd look over at his, and he'd have like a sculpture. You know what I mean?
Like an Adonis.
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
What about you guys?
Anneliese?
I'm going to go with Clark because he's the dog handler and he loves the dogs so much. And it's not their fault that they're aliens.
No.
And that's how I feel. So I would make a snowman with him because I feel like he really needs it.
That's a, yeah.
Isn't he also he's the guy that McCready just like impulse shoots in the head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was self-defense.
It was.
But yeah. So, we can't do repeats, right?
No.
I wanted McCready. So, I don't want Childs. Because as much as I love Keith David, Childs is just so angry.
Yeah.
And I would like try to do something like, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that does feel like how I would go down.
So I'm going to pick Niles. Because he likes Superstition by Stevie Wonder. And we'll just be jamming while making our snowman. And he's just super cool.
Love that.
That's fair.
Would you like to build a snowman?
Yes, I would.
Okay, bye.
All right, Austin. Would you die?
Yes.
That's it.
Here's the thing. I would pet that dog.
I was literally going to say the same thing. I was going to say I would die because I would pet that dog.
Mm-hmm. I would protect the doggy and then...
He would not recognize us as a friend.
But then, would we recognize him as a friend? Because we'd be assimilated?
Yes.
I don't know. I just think I would sit with that dog and sit a little while and see what happens.
That's fair.
That was a reference to the movie we just watched.
It's a good reference.
So, I know you already said it, but Anneliese, would you die?
I would. And just like you said, I would die for the same reason. I would absolutely pet that dog.
That's very fair.
I always forget to pack something, and I'd for sure forget the flamethrower, so I'd die.
The thing is very lethal. Yeah, pretty much everyone dies in this movie, so
Yeah,
there is no shot to survival.
correct. All right, Austin, where can the people find you?
You can find me in the shed petting those dogs. You can also find me at Austin M. Torres across the social media verse, primarily Instagram and Letterboxd, though I've been exploring Threads recently.
I noticed. You've
So
been popping off on there a little bit.
I have been, so that finally, I'm finally getting that going. So Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd. I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm just not very active on there yet. You can find the show's social media at Would You Die Show, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, and that's it. Instagram is where I'm most active. Find us on YouTube, where you can still listen to us and watch my short films like Ice Cream Spider and The Blood Witch. And like, share, and subscribe. Where can the people find you, Anneliese?
The people can find me. No, this is very dark. The people can find me building a secret spaceship underground, underneath the bunker. Or you can find me on social media, specifically Instagram and Letterboxd at Whims of Willow. And occasionally Threads, because sometimes I like to poke in on what Austin's doing.
Petting that dog.
Where can the people find you, Jeremy?
You can find me simply not going on expeditions to Antarctica. You can also find me at Annually Funny on all platforms.
Very nice.
Well, thank you to Jeremy for producing our show. Thank you to Josie Palmer for writing our theme music at the beginning and end of every episode. Please check out her music on Spotify and Apple Music and anywhere else you find music. A big thank you also to our creator of our graphics. Anytime you go on our social media and you see those cool graphics that Austin posts for our episodes and for our monthly themes, those are done by Alec Gibson at Crosshook Creative. You can check out his work at wearecrosshook.com and alecgibsondesign.com. Austin, do you have a hint for the next episode?
Next week, we are talking about Frozen. No, not that one.
All right.
Till then, I'm Austin Torres.
And I'm Anneliese Petersburg.
Try not to die.